Good morning, everyone. It's 6 minutes after the hour. It's Thursday. No, it's not Thursday. It's Tuesday. I was just wishful thinking there for a moment. It's Tuesday, October 8th, 2019, 48 degrees outside. And Shane Taubman with me on the line, of course, as he is every morning. Thank you for being here, buddy.
My pleasure. I hope you're enjoying yourself on the worst day of the week for you. But, we will tackle it like yesterday. What a
That's
day.
right.
What a
Yesterday was pretty good. Yep. Yes. Yesterday wasn't bad. Yeah. We got Jeff Krauss in at 8 o'clock. So that makes Tuesday worth being here. So
That's right.
That's exciting. Well, in weather, we've got some serious weather ahead of us, Shane. We got a winter storm warning in effect beginning at 6 o'clock this evening until October 10th at noon. That's 2 days of weather, winter storm warning in October, no less. So kind of interesting to have that this early in the year.
Exactly. But it is fall.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, it's... I don't know. 3 to 6 inches of snow feels more like winter than fall.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know. But at any rate, rain mainly after 3 p.m. today. The high is going to be near 64, so get used to it because you're not going to have that much longer. Chance of precipits about 80%, and then tonight, rain before midnight, then it's going to change to snow. And the snow could be heavy at times. The low is going to be around 23 degrees, so that snow will not melt right away. And chance of precip is 90%. New snow accumulation, 4 to 6 inches is possible in our little region here. And then on Wednesday, snow again, high near 27. North winds at 6 to 8 miles an hour. Chance of precip, 100%. New snow accumulation, 3 to 7 inches possible. So we could be 13 inches by the end of Wednesday. Wednesday night, again, snow likely, mainly before midnight. Low around 10 degrees on Wednesday night. So bring in your brass monkeys if you have any out there.
Yes.
And the chance of precip, 70%. New snow accumulation of around an inch is possible, and then the snow moves out. And Thursday, it's mostly sunny with a high near 29 on Thursday, and mostly clear Thursday night with a low around 11 degrees. So if that snow does get here, it's not going away anytime soon. So keep that in mind that you may be out shoveling or blowing or whatever. However you get rid of snow on your property. And then on Friday, sunny with a high near 39 Friday night, mostly clear, low around 22. And then Sacramento State is going to come in here from California, where they're used to the nice warm weather. They're going to be treated to a high of 47 playing the Bobcats on Saturday. And then partly cloudy with a low around 28 Saturday night. Sunday for your weekend, partly sunny with a high near 50. That'll get rid of some of the snow. And then Sunday night, mostly cloudy with a high or low around 31 rather. And then on Columbus Day, Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 49. So those of you who have Columbus Day off, or as they're trying to force down our throats, Indigenous Persons Day. What a crock. What a crock. That is. Give me a break. I don't know. That's...
All right, I like that because you're going to get calls on that. I guarantee.
Well, I hope so. I hope they do. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna get calls.
This political correct crap is getting way too old. You know, I'm sick of it. I don't know. Where's Aaron when you need him?
Exactly.
Aaron needs to call in again and bash this Columbus Day crap. All right. Temperatures around the area. Livingston, 55 degrees. Manhattan, 51. Three Forks, 53. Gallatin Gateway, 51. Ennis is 48. Big Sky is 37. At the airport in Belgrade is 48 degrees. Right now, we're right at 47 degrees here at 10 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. And that's your weather for today.
And temperatures.
Yeah. Well, let's see. They don't waste any time getting started on the text line, Shane.
Oh, I love it. That's
478-8298. The ignorance of Trump supporters is astonishing. They refuse to fact check, read the Mueller report, and depend on talking heads to think for them. Sad. I miss the intellectual conservatives. I don't know, man.
I like. What's an example of an intellectual conservative?
I don't.
Who would you call it intellectuals?
I would guess it'd be somebody who thinks for themselves and doesn't follow the talking points of the news media that would say something like, the ignorance of Trump supporters is astonishing. I would think that would be the talking point that an intellectual conservative would not say. But anyway.
Okay. I just wondering because
it's pretty serious. Yeah. So, all right. So anyway, that's getting off to a good start, aren't we?
Okay. All right.
Well, let's see. This day in history, guess what? On October 8th, 1982, all labor organizations in Poland, included Solidarity, were banned. They got rid of the labor organizations in Poland.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like the left, that you have. They always overreact at the end.
Mm.
And we saw this, of course, take on now its characteristics of collapse, because Poland was basically the first, right?
Right. Yeah.
They didn't collapse. Actually, what happened is they basically allowed a vote for a union, which communism is a total union, so it was a contradiction in terms. But the problem was they couldn't go against the church, and the Catholic Church had such an influence in Poland, that at the end of the day, the Poles just decided enough was enough, and they turned their back on communism and the Soviet Union. The interesting aspect of that is the risk that the Soviets knew they would take using physical force, right? So when they decided not to cross that line, the rest of the Soviet Empire just sort of collapsed, melted away.
Yeah. Well, on October 8th in 1890, Eddie Rickenbacker, the World War I flying ace who went on to lead Eastern Airlines for 30 years, was born.
I know. How incredible
What
was
a guy
that?
he was, huh? Yeah.
Incredible. Alvin York.
World War I fighter pilot when they barely had planes back then.
I don't know if you could call it plane. They were more like gliders.
Well, almost, yeah.
You used to buy those in the nickel store, and with a rubber band and fly them around.
Yeah.
The biplanes, they were sort of cool. And Sergeant York, another amazing hero of World War I.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of interesting with this whole thing with Syria and Turkey and the United States over the weekend, because 100 years ago was the end of World War I and the Ottoman Empire.
Right.
And, up until 100 years ago, Turkey controlled most of Eastern Europe, all the way around to the Middle East and then Northern Africa.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess he's trying to rebuild an empire like Putin is of some kind. But I just don't see getting into arguments that have been traveling around for hundreds and centuries, literally centuries.
Yeah, the only problem I think with pulling out of some of these areas is that there are American companies there. We do have American interests there that should be protected. I don't think we need to go to war with these people, but I think we need to have a force there to protect our interests.
Well, that's true.
And when Obama left, ISIS grew pretty quickly. With no opposition. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen again. Now, I do agree that we've been in these countries way too long. We going to stay there 1,000 years while they fight with each other? They're not going to get along. They're not going to come to any. They're not going to come to any conference table or anything like that. If you remember the Vietnam peace talks, it took them a year to decide on the seating.
And the size of the tables.
And the size of the tables. I mean, come on. How dumb can that be?
First grade dumb?
Well, pretty much. I guess that's grade school playground dumb, I guess.
But the bottom line is what Trump's done, I think, which is interesting, is basically with a NATO member,
Mm-hmm.
he's basically told them that, look, you do this, then you assume the responsibility of ISIS. You better not let them come back. So I mean,
Well, that's the thing. I would assume it's not in their best interest to let ISIS come back. Now, I
of
don't
course,
know, but I would think.
ISIS was radical Sunnis, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't want that issue because
Yeah.
the Kurds and everything that they've got, and
Mm-hmm.
the
And
PKK, the Kurds in the southeastern part of Turkey have been, they're basically Maoist communists, and they've been fighting a civil war with Turkey itself in Istanbul.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
anyway, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting, but Trump will have completed another promise, which is important to him, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we might point out too, Syria is not in NATO, so we don't have an obligation to Syria, at least not a NATO obligation to them. So.
And Assad is not going to attack Syria or Turkey.
No, not unless he wants to
spend
time in a Turkish prison.
Yes.
Which. What was the movie where the guy was in the Turkish prison for drugs? And God.
For heroin or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the movie right now, but
something night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he escaped, or was there? Didn't he try to escape?
Yeah, he finally. I don't know. Yeah, I finally escaped, I think. But yeah. Anyway.
Horrific.
Yeah, it was not a nice place. Even in that toned down movie, it was not a nice place.
Well, yeah, because in Arab prisons or Muslim prisons, they don't take care of you. Your family has to. So if you don't have any family or anyone to provide you with anything, you're shifted.
Yes, you are. You're Adam shifted.
You're Adam shifted.
All right. On this date in 1871, the Great Chicago Fire erupted. The blaze destroyed 4 square miles of the city, killing about 250 people and leaving 90,000 homeless. Wow.
It was incredible. But it did add to the whole concept of the neighborhood fire department and professional firemen.
Yes, it did. So, all right, we've got to take care of our ag folks, our ranchers, farmers, and truck drivers, cab drivers, anybody that brings you booze, food, or clothing. Easy for me to say, huh? It is Tuesday after all.
If you can say it in one line.
I can say it in one line, yeah. All right, let's see what those ag guys are up to. We'll be right back. 25 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Tuesday, October 8, 2019, 45 degrees outside. And, we're looking for a high of maybe 47 or somewhere in there, Shane. So we're almost there. So it's getting warmer.
We could be indeed.
Getting warmer as we speak.
Yeah, it now gets into that time of year where you start going, how do we add a degree?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Our poll question yesterday, have the Republican and Democrat Party moved too far to the right and left? 69% of you believe the Democrats have moved too far left. 16% say the Republicans are perfect for me right now. And 4% say independents are left out. 2% say Democrats are perfect for me right now. And some other points. Both parties are for themselves and not the people. Both parties have moved left, socialist Democrats or tax and spend Republicans. And both parties have moved to the extremes. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty interesting there.
Sort of hard to believe.
Yeah. Our poll for today, should Bozeman outlaw vaping products? I don't know. Maybe they have. We'll have to ask Jeff Krauss about that.
We have to ask him about that.
Yeah, if they've outlawed. 62% of you so far say no, the danger is overhyped, and 12% say yes, too dangerous. There's a couple other answers. No, freedom is important, or freedoms are important. And no, this is supposed to be a free country. So, yeah. Are you?
There you go.
Even if it's dangerous, I should be able to put it in my body, Shane.
Yeah, like 12 years
No
ago
problem.
when the opioid, problem was starting, people were going, "You can't outlaw these. You can't not give these to me. I
Right,
want
yeah.
them."
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know. It's pretty. Well, it is a kind of a convoluted question because it wasn't a problem until they, when they were just using water vapor, and
That's right.
now they started adding flavors and all these other things. Is where we ran into trouble because no one realized that putting certain things in your lungs is not good for you.
Yeah, well, that's true.
All
Yeah.
smoke and these were, of course, designed with nicotine in them to wean you off cigarettes. I'm not sure how smoking nicotine weans you off, but
And without the tar that causes the cancer.
yeah, that stuff. So
But
it's
I think the real push and the reason they've accelerated in sale and interest is because of THC.
mhm.
And because all the businesses that are selling pot in Colorado, Washington, and other states,
Yeah.
they saw this as an option, as a delivery system that was a lot simpler for people.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
instead of smoking a pipe or rolling a joint,
rolling it yourself. Yeah. So, well, I don't know. We've do we need to be concerned that 6 or 7 people have died from this? I mean, is the hype overhyped on vaping? Do you think?
Well, as I mentioned,
I mean,
last
when you compare it to 70,000 people dying on opioids,
well, yeah, but it didn't start out at 70,000.
well, that's true. It did not. So you're right. Could vaping go to that
Yeah,
extreme?
it could. I mean,
I don't know.
if you look back at the numbers from the
Yeah.
opioid issue that started really similar to this back in 09, 010.
Mm-hmm.
And it started small and just grew fast. But
Yeah.
the bottom line is that it's important that something's being done. Like, let's look at this and let's not ignore it until it becomes disastrous.
Yeah. But like, as you say, are we overreacting? Are we going, are we closing the barn door and locking it with 7 locks after the horses have already gotten out?
Well, one lock is never enough.
Well, that's true. All right. All right, we got to pay. Well, we don't have to pay anything. We just got to get out of here. Montana State News, Fox News up, Brooke Foster weather, and of course, where would we be without Babel? So we'll be right back after those important words. So stay tuned, and we'll have Jeff Krauss in at 8 o'clock. We'll be right back right after this. 25 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 8th, 2019, 45 degrees outside. Jeff Krauss will join us at 8 o'clock, and Jeff, always a good entertaining hour with Jeff as to what the silly city commission is doing out there, whatever they're up to. So we've got a couple things on the Jeff list I think we need to talk about. So the other thing from our text line, 478-8298, most vaping deaths have occurred because of the use of contraband products and underlying health issues. And I would say that is probably correct.
Yes.
And let's see. I don't care what people put in their body as long as they're willing to sign a waiver that removes them from the possibility of being in group health insurance policy so their poor decisions don't cost me money. What do you think, Shane? I don't want to.
Well, the relative fact is that most of these things, they're not acceptable anyway because under federal law, it's a drug. It's a
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure that's relative, right?
Yeah.
Because it's already illegal. So it's like when you go on a holiday and you buy those $10 insurance policies. You need to read the fine print because it says void if any alcohol is drank.
Drunk.
That too.
From our app chat line, let's make a vaping illegal, kind of like drugs. Well, we could do that.
Right.
But you wonder, in some cases, you're going to create a black market for things like that. we've tried to outlaw booze. We've tried to outlaw cigarettes. The best we can do is put warnings all over them and, all of that. But I don't know.
The only thing that's worked is education.
Right.
That's all that's ever worked, yeah.
Yeah, that would be it. All right. Coming up, we need to let you know that we are going to be giving away tickets to the Bobcat game. Sacramento State is coming to town. We're going to give away tickets on Thursday morning, 2 by phone and 2 with our app chat. And all you have to do is go to our app chat, AM 1450 KMMS, our app on your smartphone. And the app chat button is right next to the listen button. All you have to do is text homecoming to us. Homecoming will put you in the drawing for 2 tickets to Sacramento State. We've only got 3 home games left. So we'll have right. 2 more games after this one. But so if you want to see the Cats in action in person without buying a plane ticket to go someplace, you'll want to tune in Thursday morning, probably between 7 and 8. We'll give away the tickets, and we'll close the app chat at the 9 o'clock hour on Thursday morning, and we'll call the winners and let them know, or winner, I should say. So we got 4 tickets to give away. We'll give away 2 by phone and 2 with our app chat app. So by all means, get our KMMS AM 1450 KMMS app on your smartphone. Download that, and you'll get weather anytime you want it, news anytime you want it, and any of our shows anytime you want them. So by all means, and it doesn't cost anything. Isn't that amazing that we can provide this valuable service free of charge?
Yeah, it's just a copper call.
It's amazing what we can do here.
That's right.
All right. 1869, Franklin Pierce, the 14th president of the United States, died in Concord, New Hampshire at age 64. Did he invent the Pierce arrow?
I wish he had.
I don't think so. I don't think he did, but anyway. No,
the sad thing about Franklin Pierce is he was sort of the wrong guy at the wrong time. And, 1853 to 1857 was the final period before the Civil War in your country. And he did very little to try and stem the conflict between the North and the South. And he was a Democrat. Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah.
And, he did support the Fugitive Slave Act. Only problem was that was an act to return slaves that escaped from slavery.
Yeah.
And even though he was born in New Hampshire, which is up there with Ohio and Illinois, for presidents, Missouri.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Really, there's not much else to say.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
The end of the 18th century and the Gilded Age. Was beginning. But
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we don't have any more to say because we've got to take a break and talk about ZipRecruiter and Go Mint. So, by all means, we'll be right back. 17 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 8th, 2019, I think it is, and 46 degrees outside. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing, on the line.
I'm still cold in 46-degree weather, okay, even though I may be amazing, but it's cold outside. Oh, that's a famous song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Honey, it's cold outside.
Yeah. Well, from our text line, Franklin Pierce was homosexual, probably died of AIDS. Well, he wasn't homosexual. That was Patrick Buchanan. I think you're mixing the two up.
You got your Pierces wrong.
Yeah, that was that was Max. That was Franklin Pierce was. I don't know. I don't know. Was he married or what? Do you remember? Do you know, Shane? Do you remember?
He had, vice president, succeeded by James Buchanan. Born, died, cause of death. Yeah, he had children, 3. Spouse was Jane Appleton.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there you go. Now, well, you could certainly still be gay and have kids and be married, I guess. But anyway, that's a whole other story that we don't need to get into this morning because On this date in 1918, American Army Sergeant Alvin York almost single-handedly killed 25 German soldiers and captured 132 in France. So, yeah, in the battle over there. And that was,
Argonne.
yeah. Gary Cooper played him in the movie, went to
Yes.
Bozeman High. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
Joan Leslie was in it. So was Walter Brennan, June Lockhart, Ward Bond, Noah Berry. The list is endless of all the great people that were in here. Howard De
That's
Silva.
right.
Yeah.
And he was a member of the Church of Christian in Christian Union, and it was sort of an offshoot of the Catholic Church, but a Southern Baptist church.
Yeah.
And he was prepared to go to war, which he did, but he wanted to go without having to fire a gun. And, he wanted...
conscientious objector.
Correct. And he was like one of the first, which is amazing to think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, they threatened him with being thrown out and thrown in jail and thrown around. And anyway, so he picked up his gun and decided to become a medic. Because then he would have to use a gun, but not necessarily. And during the offensive in the Argonne, he as you said, he cleaned the clock of the Germans, emptied a bunch of machine gun nests and allowed the advance that probably would have been stalled if it hadn't have been for him.
Yeah, he was a prize-winning Tennessee marksman as well.
Gosh,
he was did a lot of hunting for the family because they were in Tennessee.
Well, they ate a lot of squirrel back then.
That's right.
Yeah, he was in the 82nd Division, and of course, he won not only the Distinguished Service Cross, but the Medal of Honor. So he became a hero. Yeah, Mama still loved him.
Yeah, the picture was awards. They got Academy Award for Best Actor and Best Film Editing, and it was nominated for Best Picture. So it was quite a coup back in the day. That came out in 1941, 2 hours and 14 minutes long. 91% of Google users liked the movie.
And it's one of the first movies they colored because it was black and white originally, as you said.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and when they started that process back in the 80s to color movies, this was one of the first ones they did.
Yeah. Well, in 1944, The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet debuted on CBS Radio, and I can remember us sitting down in the grade school gymnasium and watching a movie that had Harriet in it. And what do you think her maiden name was, Shane?
Ozzie?
Harriet Ozzie? Yeah, right. Harriet Hillard.
Ooh, Hillard.
Yeah, was her maiden name. And, of course, Ozzie and Harriet, the Nelsons, had Ricky Nelson as their kid, killed in a plane crash. And the other one, David Nelson, went on to do some acting, whatever. Right. And they had a couple twins somewhere along the line. The Nelsons, were singing groups for a while. And
that's right.
Quite a group.
They ran 14 seasons, which was big back then, 435 shows. So another library of shows. That's pretty impressive.
That was pretty impressive. All right. Yeah. 1945, President Harry Truman announced that the secret of the atomic bomb would be shared only with Britain and, for some reason, Canada.
Yeah. Well, the amazing thing is that April 12th, 1945, Roosevelt dies.
Yeah.
And Truman's sitting, after just breaking a vote in the Senate as president, and the Secret Service says, you got to come to the White House. So he comes to the White House and, you're now going to be sworn in as president. Oh, that's great. And they, by the way, we got this project. It's called the Manhattan Project, but we'll talk to you about it later.
Right, yeah.
It's sort of amazing. And
pretty big deal, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't. So, that April 25th, 2 weeks later, they told him, right?
Yeah.
And the day he found out, he went on the radio, and quote, it said to the American people, we have discovered the most terrible bomb in the history of the world. It may be the fire destruction prothesis in the Euphrates Valley era after Noah and his fabulous ark.
Hmm.
So, that's what he compared it to, the great flood. He said that's how destructive this could be.
Wow.
So, of course, all the military guys, like today, no, you can't tell everybody. And, well, he told everyone before they used it. So,
yeah.
The Japanese knew we had it, but they didn't believe us. So,
yeah.
Go.
Much to their chagrin, and even dropping one didn't convince them. We had to drop
That's
two.
Right. And as we've said many times over the years, thank goodness that convinced them, because they only had two. They only had two.
Yeah, they only had two. Yeah,
Take another 6 to 9 months. They thought before they'd be able to create another one.
And they weren't sure they were even going to work anyway. They just dropped them, and they were just a big piece of rubble in the middle.
Yeah, it actually could have ended up just a dirty bomb. In other words, just exploding and releasing some radiation. It may not have been incredibly destructive, but there you go.
So true. Hey, well, I know everybody's dying to know about Montana Gift Corral and whatever that stupid woman's podcast is. So we'll be right back right after these important words from both of them. Hang on. 8 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 8th, 2019, 48 degrees outside currently, and we're talking about this day in history. Don Larson, 1956. Pitched the only perfect game in the World Series as the New York Yankees beat the Brooklyn Dodgers 2-0 in Game 5. And I remember that watching that game on TV.
I'll bet you did, because that's an accomplishment. A no hit.
Yogi Berra runs out there, jumps on him. That's pretty good.
That's intense.
It was quite a thing. It's really amazing. Nobody's done it since. I mean, that was 1956, so 60 years, 70 years almost.
That's right. It's a pretty So there you go.
Well, 1959, Margaret Thatcher was first elected to the British Parliament as a Conservative representing the North London suburb of Finchley. And, of course, her famous quote, socialism works until you run out of other people's money.
That's correct.
Something like that.
And, historians and political science people, majors, whatever, academics, they look at her and they write about her, but they don't want to. But the reality is she changed England. She saved she saved England from socialism and a socialist collapse. She really did.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, no question about that. Yeah.
And there's British people to this day that resent it. My niece had a gentleman that was British, and he's like can't stand Margaret Thatcher. He's like a millennial. So his father was in the Union and stuff. So
yeah.
Well,
on this date, 1970, one of my favorite names, Soviet author Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
Oh, you just like him because you can pronounce his name.
I can't pronounce his name. Yeah, that's one thing I have to do whenever we do the day in history is I've got to go through and make sure that I can pronounce everybody's name. Otherwise, we just don't put it up because.
Yeah.
Now, Alexander Solzhenitsyn named the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Yeah, but I want to see you pronounce the name in the book that he wrote, that he won the Nobel Prize for.
Solzhenitsyn or us?
Yeah, exactly. One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, who was a friend of his in the Gulag. So he wrote a novel about a guy in a Gulag.
All right. Wow. That must have been a page turner.
Well, it really wasn't. The food was terrible.
I'll bet, yeah. Well, in 1982, Poland banned all labor organizations, including Solidarity. We mentioned that earlier. 1985, the hijackers of the Italian cruise ship Achille Lauro killed American passenger Leon Klinghoffer and dumped his body and his wheelchair overboard.
Yeah.
That really endured the hijackers in everybody's mind.
That's right.
Killing this crippled guy.
And it sparked the Zagonia crisis, and the Zagonia crisis is between Arafat and the PLO, and Syria, and they were in Beirut, and the Syrians threw them out of Beirut because of the outcry of what they'd done to this Jewish guy in a wheelchair and so on. But it's interesting because the Assad family took on the PLO, and they were trying to overthrow Assad. Was trying to overthrow what's his name, that teeny little guy that ran the PLO, and anyway, he got out of Arafat, yeah, that
little guy,
that guy, and Assad's brother. I love this stuff. Assad's brother helps Arafat escape Beirut and get out of Lebanon to Tripoli.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the time, Arafat was okay because the Russians backed him. Like they did, like Cuba and so forth. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was one of those times that something could have happened that could have changed things forever, but unfortunately, they didn't catch up to Arafat in time.
Yeah. Now, see, here's why, we're up for Bozeman Magazine Best Program,
Right.
All right. I'm looking through the window at the production room, and who's in the production room, and they should be on the air. Both Michelle Wolf and Dave Wooten are in there goofing around on the board trying to figure something out. And, they're not in their studio doing their show. They're in here goofing off in the production room. Now,
well, they're loading all the machines because it's all done with.
If that's not a vote for us, I don't know what is. I mean, come on. I mean, we don't just play some past crap or some music and go have a cup of coffee somewhere. We actually work here.
Yeah, but you actually give people a reason to. You produce the show, you create the show, you record the show, you upload the show. Oh my God, you do the commercials for the show. What don't you do for? You talk for the show. You interview. That interview you had with Greg Gianforte the other day was phenomenal. Like you're big time. They don't realize it. You are big time. The mayor. The Rocket Man, my God!
All right,
you have more synonyms than a politician running for president.
All right, well, that's why you should go to BozemanMagazine.com. The 2020 poll under media, vote for us for best radio show, and we appreciate it if you would do that.
We do.
Yes,
and vote for me too.
All right,
just for fun, for giggles and laughs.
Yeah. Okay, 2001 on this date, former Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge. He was sworn in as the director of the new Office of Homeland Security.
Yep, 42 departments. It had to be overseen, and he had to set up the TSC and keep the country safe. And first of all, the largest realignment of your intelligence services since 1947. So that was probably important. But look, didn't succeed.
Yeah.
They haven't done well.
Loser. Let's see. On this date in 2004, lifestyle guru Martha Stewart reported to prison after begin serving a sentence for lying about a stock sale. So Martha Stewart in the pokey in the Gray Motel.
Yes, this is a perfect example of what we've been talking about for 2 years. So they couldn't convict her of inside trading, so they convicted her of what? A process crime.
Yeah. And
the FBI said that she lied to them, and that's what she went to jail for. She didn't go to jail for insider trading. I mean, crazy.
Crazy. Right. There you go. From our text line, Eagleman, you're the only morning show host that I've listened to since Mark Allen left the air. Keep up the great work. Well, we hope we'll be here as long as they let us be here. So
that's right.
That's where we are. All right, top of the hour. Jeff Krauss will join us at 8 o'clock. We come back, we'll try to do some local stuff and maybe the 5 things you need to know. Who knows? Well, the show kind of takes care of itself, so... We'll take your phone calls and texts right after the news. Stay tuned. 6 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Tuesday, October 8th, 2019, and 51 degrees outside, Shane, I should say. It's Tuesday. Wow. I can't talk,
but you've got the temperature to go up 3 degrees. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? Well, let's see. From our text line, 478-8298, the Bidens are as untouchable as Ted Kennedy was and Hillary is. Was Chappaquiddick or Ted's conspiracies with the KGB against Reagan legitimately investigated? Will Hillary ever be investigated fully for Benghazi, the European one potentially treasonous act against the security of the U.S. citizens, and her missing emails? What about Comey and Brennan? No one is above the law. What a bunch of crap the Democrats certainly are. So, well,
that's a good right-sided email.
Yeah, that's pretty much that pretty well spells it all out without too much controversy, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, let's see. I think we've got. I think we're caught up on all the text line stuff here. Let's see. I think we're okay there. Let's check the app chat. Well, we got people typing in, sending us homecoming, and if you want to win tickets to the next game with Sacramento State, which will be this coming Saturday, all you have to do is go to our AM 1450 KMMS app, click on the app chat button, and text the word homecoming to us, and that'll put you in the drawing. We're going to end that at 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. And we'll give away 2 tickets by phone, and we'll give away 2 tickets on our app chat line. So you have 2 chances to win.
What a way to press your homecoming date.
Well, that's true. Yeah, get some tickets for the homecoming. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you could tell her you went out and mugged somebody for me.
Well, you could. Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for the final game is going to be the Cat Grizz game. So the winner winner of the Cat Grizz tickets, those folks are going to get, they could bump those babies for $200 outside the stadium. If they want to make some Christmas money, that would be the way to do it. So
we should auction them.
We should auction them off. Yeah,
a phony. No, as a phony auction, just to see. How much they might go for. We can't, of course, charge for it.
Well, that's true. Yeah. We've Shane and I have toyed with having a. Let me ask you this, callers, 522-TALK, 522-8255. Shane and I have been playing with doing the phrase that never pays. So
that's right.
We have a daily phrase, and we'll give you $1,000, but of course your chances of winning are like 1 in 20 billion trillion. So you're not going to win, but every day the prize doubles.
Like a lotto ticket.
Every day the prize doubles, So should we do that or not? Would that be fun for you to call in and try to guess the phrase that never pays? So I don't know. We'll see. That was just kind of a fun little thing to do on the morning here. So. But, Shane, guess what? Our students are getting better in math and English. Wow.
It must have been a simpler test because it couldn't have been the teaching.
No, I don't know. But anyway, statewide, elementary students in grades 3 to 5 slipped in English. But the younger students slightly improved in math. But locally, the big story, of course, Bozeman Elementary Schools. If you're sending your kid to Morningstar, 86.3 in English and 84.3 in math.
Wow.
They were heads and shoulders above the others. That closest other one was 74 at Longfellow and 71 in math and 74 in English. But that was the closest to Morningstar. So if you got a kid at Morningstar, congratulations. Your kid's probably getting a decent education over there. So I don't know. He may turn out to actually be something. And over in Belgrade, you need to be at the Hecqua Elementary School, 76% in English and 79 in math. Those were the big numbers over there. And the Gallatin County rural schools, let's see, we had Anderson School, 73 in English, and Lamont had 70 in math. So we got kind of a split there.
Wow.
And some other schools were a little too small to report. because the number of students it wouldn't have. Well, they say without risking privacy. I guess they know how many.
Yeah, that's
too many kids. There are too few kids in the school. But that's Momborg, Pass Creek, Spring Hill, Willow Creek, and Cottonwood were, although they're recorded, but they're not reported because of class size.
Well, there you go.
So pretty good deal for the local kiddos there to do that. Yeah. And the county commissioners last Friday talked about possible target shooting sites in the area, and 3 possible locations. One, they're on U.S. Forest Service land close to Jackson Creek, and the Bangtails would be one. South of Gallatin Gateway would be another one, and off U.S. Highway 191 would be a third one, and then a fourth one might be adjacent to the Logan landfill on state land. So that would be kind of interesting to have some target shooting out there. So,
well, props to you, Mayor, because this is one of those issues that was sort of strangely showing up, to see if there is any interest in the public. And you highlighted it on your morning show as the mayor and the Eagle Man raised a real concern people have, because this is something people need. There should be 3 or 4, because there's a significant number of people that own weapons and want to go out and practice shoot.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have no problem with it whatsoever. We should have a safe place for people to go out and exercise their Second Amendment rights and do that. Yeah.
And it shouldn't be restricted. So
it should not, yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, they teach the test, so it's meaningless. Well, I've said that for a number of years, that they have these standardized tests that they just teach the kids to pass the test, and they don't get the education that we got as kids in school. We spent probably a week or 2 on the Civil War. We spent a week or 2 on World War I and World War II. I mean, we studied history and things like that more diligently.
Memorize the Gettysburg Address,
Yeah, we had to do that. Yeah, 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth to this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated the proposition that all men are created equal. Something like that.
27 words, baby.
That's it. All right, let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, about I wanted to go to that meeting last night, but I ended up working late about the shooting ranges.
Right, yeah.
And I love the idea, but I go to the one down in Big Sky all the time, every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Every Friday I go down there. I want to put a word out to the shooters out there. I spend more time filling up garbage bags with crap at the shooting range because people bring everything down there and then shoot it, including washers and dryers, TVs.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
I'll tell you, the one down there, the NRA actually donated the money for some covers and some stands, and there weren't any seats. They had we had a few logs that we cut that were the right size that you could sit on for the benches.
Mm-hmm.
They even shot those up.
Wow.
We had, there was 8x8 railroad ties sunk in the ground to screw the plywood to.
Yeah.
They shot those until they fell down.
Wow.
So there's some, I have concerns about the, how do you maintain this? There's people that go down there, and it's just a handful of people, but it's enough to, leave a huge mess.
Yeah.
I'd like to shoot more than I do clean up at the range, but I take I've got a dumpster at my job site that the owner has given me permission to throw stuff in, and I can go down there and fill up 3 construction-sized garbage bags.
Wow.
With just junk.
Do you haul off the washers and dryers and the TVs too?
I hauled off the TV. I don't know who. Somebody finally hauled off the. I think it was a dryer. You guys laugh, but it's really not very funny because it's just such a reflection on people that do shoot.
Well, it seems like target shooting would that would challenge you more than shooting a dryer. I don't mean to make light of the problem, but it just seems like
even
yeah.
they're even their targets. They don't. Same problem out at Logan Rifle Range. I belong out there, and you know what? I don't want to see how good or how bad a shooter you are.
Mm-hmm.
Pull your targets. If everybody would take one piece away more than what they brought, the place would be spotless.
Yeah.
People from out of state, it's just a bad reflection on people that do shoot.
Now, they pick up their brass, too, or they just leave that laying around?
They just leave that laying around, but I pick that up and take it to the recycle and get paid for it.
I was going to say, yeah, that would, you could make a pretty good piece of change probably with that. So, wow.
Well, the price of brass is down, but it's still worth picking up. So anyway, just a word out to the shooters: be aware and pick up, and let's make a good name for ourselves.
I would think so. I'm assuming these things aren't manned by anybody. Then you just go out there and shoot. The owner of the River House down there, really great barbecue place down in Big Sky. He was kind of heading it up, and he got tired of it. Yeah.
We are going to have a cleanup out there this month sometime. So anyway, if you can, come on out to the range down south.
Well, I meant
help us clean up.
Yeah, by being manned, I meant if you pull up with your dryer, somebody would say, "No, you're not taking that dryer out there and shooting at it."
Well, I would if I was down there.
Well, yeah, I would agree, but I guess maybe the county might want to think about is it worth having someone down there during shooting hours to kind of keep everybody from dragging every appliance they have out there.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But anyway, that's not going to happen. But
I don't think so either.
We need to be self-policing.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah.
Let's take care of what we've got.
Well, let's put signs up till they shoot them down.
Well, that's what they'll do.
Yeah, I guess so.
They call it trigger trash.
Well, I guess so.
Anyway, that's just my opinion on that.
Thanks for the info. We'll have to bring that up with the county commissioners on Friday and see what their thoughts are on that.
Yeah, it'd be great if you did.
All right, we'll try and remember to do that. Shane, put that on the list. The shooting ranges, people are shooting washers and dryers and TVs out there. So, all right.
Yeah.
The CC list, yeah.
All right. We'll do that.
Thanks.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Thanks for listening. All right. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. 21 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m., Tuesday, October 8, 2019. Jeff Krauss will be in at 8 o'clock. It's 51 degrees outside. Shane Taubman on the line with me, and we've got a caller waiting, Shane, so let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, I wanted to talk about Ukrainian pipeline.
Ukrainian pipeline? All right, go for it.
Well, both Nancy Pelosi's son and Joe Biden's son try to get on the cash. See, Ukraine doesn't produce enough natural gas to even heat its own self.
Okay, so does the pipeline just go through the Ukraine then to somewhere else?
No, what they were trying to get in on was inflated transit fees from Russia to Europe.
Okay.
And they thought they were going to make a bonus. That's how they thought they were going to tap the oligarchs by doing this. But Russia bypassed them by building the Nord Stream 2 and 3 pipelines that went through Belarus and Lithuania instead. So Biden and Pelosi's son didn't get in on a big bonanza when Ukraine fell.
What a shame.
But it was going to be it wasn't about natural gas. It was about pipeline fees and tariffs on Russian products going through Ukraine to Europe. that's where they wanted to make their cash.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call. All right. What do you think, Shane? Pipelines and natural gas and
Yeah, well, of course, originally what happened is Russia built pipelines through Ukraine, and then Romania and Moldavia and Hungary and Slovakia to Europe. And then when Ukraine separated after the collapse of the Soviet Union, it became an issue because the Ukrainian wanted to be paid a fee for the pipelines they had to be used by the Russians.
mm-hmm.
So the Russians got all angry and hot and tried to make deals with the Ukrainians, and then the Ukrainians couldn't pay them, and then they cut off the flow of natural gas, which upset the Russians. So they built these new pipelines through the speaker or the caller was making mention through the northwest, through the Lithuania and Polish area.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in course right with what Trump is talking about, with Germany supporting that, when they should be buying natural gas cheaper from the United States. So it just, the new global alignment for trade in oil and gas. That's all.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of it there because, with us being oil independent, Saudi Arabia and some of these other countries have got to be more dependent on Russia and these other countries for
That's right.
For solvency, and so more power to them. And,
That's right.
And with with us pulling out of some of these countries, is that does that put those pipelines in more danger? Do you think of sabotage or?
They did. I mean, for 100 years, everyone's talked about Afghanistan in terms of its mineral wealth, particularly oil and gas,
Mm-hmm.
and of course its geographical location, on the Silk Road to Europe,
Right.
for pipelines and things
Right.
of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the problem is that there's been so much gas and oil now found elsewhere. All of this is losing any relevance whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically back to where they were for the last 500 years, tribal, tribal infighting, and let them do it. Who cares?
I think the point the caller was making was that Nancy has made a big killing on some of this stuff, her and her husband.
Well, of course,
and they're just kind of left out of this deal, which is so sad that
I'm sure
they were kicked to the curb.
Yeah, Nancy's husband runs a hedge fund. It's very popular, and it's a cause of celeb for people to have dinner parties when they're in town,
Mm-hmm.
and talk stock.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, but the thing about it is, and I think anybody that thinks that this issue with the Bidens on this one company in Ukraine is the only one, I think what the caller's suggesting is there's probably a lot more people out there, Democrats, that are sitting on boards of a lot of other companies in the Ukraine.
Yeah, well, that could very well be. So maybe the inspector general will find that out. But I don't know. I
let it loose, right?
Well, I still think this is much ado that's going to turn into nothing. But I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
If you don't think they'll impeach him, then nothing will happen. So
I don't think they'll impeach him. I think that's a bluff. They know it's not going to be good for their party to do that. It's going to rally his base, and even independents are going to gravitate to him because of his victimhood. You can only take so much of this going after him for every
but the news has been
possible thing.
The news has been so bad. The only thing that hasn't for the Democrats to raise money is the impeachment thing, right? So I mean, what I find fascinating is, Trump raised $125 million because he's basically alone in the Republican Party running.
Mm-hmm.
But they combined, they raised over $150 million.
Mm-hmm.
But they're spending all that money to challenge each other.
Well, that's the whole thing.
I know.
Jeb Bush came into the Republican election and against Trump with 10 times the money anybody else had. I think he was well over.
million.
Yeah, he had $150 million bucks. And
Yeah, commitments. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and that didn't work out for him very well.
Yeah,
He never got off the end of the stage. You know, I
that's
mean,
right. Yeah,
he had to hold the curtain from covering him up.
Daddy Bush didn't have a cell phone with numbers. He had his Rolodex. You know, that's
Yeah.
what he was.
So I don't know, but anyway, yeah, it just goes to show you, just because you got a lot of money doesn't mean you're going to win an election. So
That's right.
you know,
Nor will you be happy.
nor will you be happy. Yeah, money doesn't buy poverty, does it? All right.
No.
All right. All right, we've got a bottom of the hour here. Jeff Krauss will be in at 8 o'clock. Hey, don't forget, BozemanMagazine.com. We are up for several things there. I'm up for Most Luscious Voice, and we're up for the best radio show. We're up for the best news station and best whatever else we are in there, best personalities and all that stuff. So go over to BozemanMagazine.com, click on the 2020 thing, and vote for us. We would really appreciate it, and we hope to beat out the XL Country guys that are constant winners, and they're just in here goofing around earlier, you know. So I don't know. I don't know what they do over there. I thought they were just taking a long time to clean the place out. Anyway, we'll be back right after this. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 8th, I believe, 2019. It is 50 degrees outside. Jeff Krauss will join us at 8 o'clock. And, well, we're going through just some of the local things that are going on around the area. MSU and the city are getting together. We'll have to ask Jeff Krauss about this. Bozeman commissioners and Montana State University's elected student government talked about transportation, recycling, affordable housing, and more as the two bodies listed where their work could overlap. Ooh.
Wow.
I'm excited about that.
You should be.
On Monday, city commissioners and staff gathered at Bobcat Grounds as a part of a goal to meet each year with the associated students of Montana State University and the university's elected student government. Bozeman neighborhood coordinator Tanya Andreessen said the city's trying to connect with students on a regular basis as Bozeman plans for the future.
It's always preparing itself.
That is exciting, isn't it? Well, also in local news, Native American tribes interested in furthering the restoration of bison signed a treaty here on Monday in Prey, joining more than 24 other tribes from the United States and Canada, wherever that is, in the agreement. Called the Buffalo Treaty. The agreement was created in 2014 to recognize and elevate the natural importance of bison to Native American people and urge the restoration of the animal to 6.3 million acres between the United States and Canada. 6.3 million acres. Wow.
Well, we needed to do a treaty because the only barrier in that part of Montana, between Alberta and Montana and somewhat of BC, is are you ready for this? Metal posts, like small metal posts, fence posts,
right,
with electric wire.
Yeah, that's all there is. So
that's all. So they needed to have a treaty to take that out.
Yeah.
So that now the elk and the bison and all other great wild and wonderful creatures can cross the border because they don't need passports or visas.
Well, I guess
they're
not.
Hand stamped.
I guess
no, they're
not.
hand stamped. They just
Oh, they get a hand stamp and then you can come back in.
Yeah, when they walk over, they walk off the stamp and then they check it out.
Like a nightclub, huh?
Yeah, like a nightclub. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they compare them to old. They compare them to old baseball mitts.
Did they change the color and the thing every day, or?
No. They have specific colors for bison and buffalo and elk, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Call you on the morning soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, you said the magic word a few minutes ago that has been expressed before. You said about happiness they just took a Harris poll. Only 33% of the Americans, and the Harris poll is one of the biggest, most accurate. 33% of the Americans even say they're happy. UN says of 156 countries, America is the 19th happiest. These people that pound their chests and think that the United States is such the cat's meow. I think they're barking up dead statistics. It's one of the theories is the United States has a very addictive personality, not only taking the opiates, but just wanting to be number one. If you can't be number one, you feel defeated.
So of these other countries that are happier, where would you like to move to?
Well, I'm satisfied here. I'm not.
Yeah, but you call up and make statements like that. So what
Are you in the 33% that are happy?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure. That's good.
Well, the other thing you got to keep in mind, there's 90 other countries that are less happy than we are. Because there's 100 and was there 160 some countries?
193.
193. So there's 100 and there's 103.
They only used 156 in the polling. Some of them be hard to poll, like China, where there's people coming out of the woodwork.
And Muslims in concentration camps and
right.
Yeah.
And the 5 million people that live on less than $3 a day, and they're happy.
Well, the bottom line here is that when this repeated statement of that America is number one, America is the best.
It is.
Why are we so unhappy?
Yeah, we live in two of the greatest country clubs in the world. What are you complaining about? Would you rather have been born in China, Namibia, Mexico,
Mozambique,
India?
There
are people there that probably
tell me a country you'd rather have been born in.
There are probably pockets of people everywhere that are quite happy. But then at the expense of others, there are people that get to be elite and they sit around drinking and laughing all the way to the bank. But that's hardly a real happiness. That's a kind of an artificial.
Well, not everybody is happy because they have money. There's a lot of people that are probably very happy with their kids and their mom and dad, and they work and they can take a vacation every once in a while, and for the most part they're fine.
You need to give credit more. You need to give more credit to the American people that have managed lifestyles that Mikey Mike talks about. They have managed lifestyle and they have a managed income and they take care of their family, and it's a well-rounded life. Not so bad.
Yeah, it is. I gotta go.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. All right. We'll be right back. Shane, we got a caller waiting on the line. So if you could handle that, we'll be right back. 15 minutes before the top of the hour, Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. Caller on the line. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling on the morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
It's Triple D and he's back.
Tom. Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to call and respond to Daniel R. Peterson's comments every day. Is just calling in, bringing his negativity. I wanted to call in and just let the Daniels out there know what I was doing yesterday. I was out bow hunting with my daughter in America for elk, and deer and bears, and some of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen in my life, and probably wouldn't be able to do that in any of these other countries that he's wanting to praise. And I was just wondering if we could start a GoFundMe page for Daniel to get him a plane ticket and maybe a U-Haul to help him move to one of these countries that he wanted to move to.
Well,
or just maybe get start one of those to raise some money to send them on a trip to one of these places and come back and report about how great it is.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do a one-way ticket. I think it'd be probably better. We don't need a return ticket.
Okay.
What's kind of sad is that I almost agreed with Daniel on Trump's latest move to pull the soldiers out of Syria, but since Daniel agrees with it, I'm kind of second guessing my decision here to agree with it or not. I'm kind of up in the air on it now.
Yeah.
Well,
we are too. Here, we're not sure if this is the right move or not between Shane and myself. So we're kind of wondering the same thing.
Yeah. Well, now I'm kind of swayed the other way. Now that Daniel's for it, I'm kind of wondering now. Well, maybe I wasn't kind of on the right side of that one. So that's all I had, guys.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, call again.
All right. 522 Talk is the number. Call you on the air. What's up?
Just me?
Yes, you.
Yeah, I agree with your last caller.
It's not just you.
Oh,
it's you and Tom and I.
Oh, it is. You're right. Okay. I agree with the last caller, and we don't need a GoFundMe page. I'll be happy to buy Daniel a one-way ticket anywhere he wants to go, okay? He just has to promise not to come back, okay? I'm sick and tired of these people who do nothing, but sit there and bitch about these situations. This country was formed not as the perfect union, but to be a more perfect union.
Mm-hmm.
We need to evolve, and when something's wrong, you got to get in there and fight to make it right, okay? I'm sorry, but that's the way it's going to be. Just sitting there opening your mouth about something isn't going to do anything, okay? You need to threaten to kick somebody's ass, okay? That's it. That's the only way people will understand it, okay? And if you're not willing to fight for right, then I don't think you deserve to live here, okay? And that's it. All these people complain about slavery that ended here over 100 years ago, and they don't do a damn thing about the billions of people that are in slavery in this world today, and it happens right here in the United States of America still. Look at the sex slaves, that whatever you call them, that trade.
Yeah.
And these people got their mouth open clear to their ears, and they're not willing to get in there, roll up their sleeves, and fight, for right.
Yeah, that's why we're here to put that message out.
Just giving it lip service doesn't do anything, man.
Yeah.
Roll up your sleeves. Let's get busy.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. All right. Jeff Krauss is in the house. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Ready to rock and roll here? We've got a list for you.
Got the Jeff Krauss list?
Got the Jeff Krauss list ready to go here. So.
We're good. That means that program does a little better when we're
right up on top of you.
That's right. Well, the other thing that we need to chat about. Well, let's take a phone call. Let's see what the callers have to say today. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane and Jeff Krauss. What's up?
This is Donna, and I just wanted to say that, happiness comes from what you make it, and everybody has to deal with things every day in their lives. But, to put down our country and that things aren't perfect is a bunch of crap as far as I'm concerned. And that guy Daniel is a downer. So have a good day. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Well,
you have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for the call. All right. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these important words from Southwest Montana Help Wanted and Babel. You gotta love Babel. Come on. We're back, I think. I forgot to put a song in there, Shane. So I don't know what I'm doing this morning. It's Tuesday.
Oh no, it's Tuesday. We're all excited because Jeff is in the house.
Jeff is here, and we got a list for Jeff. So we're gonna be chatting with him about that list coming up, in a little while. But
when it's convenient.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Jeff may want to comment on MSU celebrates Indigenous Peoples Day. It's actually Columbus Day, but through an act of Congress, I guess. Well, probably not yet, but who knows?
Yeah, they're. I don't believe. I think Carson Taylor sort of proclaimed in Bozeman that it was Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah.
No mayor in the city of Bozeman has that kind of authority. That was.
I was going to say
that was a little overstepping.
Yeah.
Which means to say officially, it still is Columbus Day. But and I think probably in this state we're more about Indigenous peoples than we are Columbus.
Well, we probably are, but I mean,
there's a few Italians.
Yeah, but
there's a few Italians.
Yeah. Well, is this anything more than just being politically correct? I mean, it's just one more infringement on things we've done forever. And, I know Columbus wasn't a nice guy. So what? I mean, we set aside a day for him. You get out of school for it. And, we didn't sit there and praise Columbus in school. Wow, we're so lucky Columbus found us. Ooh, 1492, yippee.
I don't.
Well, you can be assured of one thing: they'll take away Columbus, but they'll keep the holiday and give it to someone else because they want that day off.
Well, they're giving it to indigenous people. That I guess there's the theory Columbus came over and killed all the Indians, and then it was free for the British to come over and populate America.
Well, I was just in Florida in St. Augustine, which is the oldest continually operating city in North America, and of course it's Spanish in origin.
Yeah.
What is that? Ponce de Leon and the Fountain of Youth, but that's part of the Columbus legacy, and I get it. I just think in Montana we got a lot of indigenous people, and we don't have many. We're not. There was never, I don't think, any big Columbus Day parades. There used to be, I think.
Well, in certain parts of the U.S. there were bigger cities. Philadelphia, I think, had one
with a large. I think if you had an Italian population, you had a Columbus Day celebration.
Columbus Day celebration. Yeah.
I kind of lean towards, if we're going to have one, I kind of lean towards Indigenous Day. We probably have a few too many days off right now in that regard. The official days off, and so
Shane and I
good.
get Christmas, I think.
You can trade. I think it would be fine to trade this day off for the day after Thanksgiving as an official holiday, because a lot of people take it off anyway. Those are the kind of practical things. But how we evolve, it used to be a fixed day regardless of what day it was in the week, and now it's some Monday, so people can have three-day weekends, right? President's Day. I mean, I think it meant more when it was first in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his country, and we celebrated George Washington's birthday, right? That was a thing, right? And maybe you learn something about George Washington in school. I never see that much. It's one of my pet peeves is we don't have that. We have a President's Day, and it's sort of amorphous. And
I want to know why we add a day to February every leap year when it would be much more productive to put it in June, July, or August.
Yeah, it makes total sense, Tom.
I mean, there should be 32 days in the warmer days of the month, not the coldest day of the month.
Right. You could have June 31st every 4. You could have June 31st every 4 years.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Why? It makes no sense to do it in February.
Yeah.
Give me an extra day in February. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Last year it was the worst February I've ever experienced.
I was going to say we had buildings caving in all over town.
We did.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Where's the good deal there?
What's the logic in that?
Yeah. Let's go to the phones. 522 Talk is the number. Calling on the air with Jeff Krauss and Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, since you're talking holidays, how about making, instead of the 4th of July, Independence Day, first Friday of July, so we can have a 3-day weekend? Because having the celebrations on Monday through Thursday just stinks. Even Sunday.
That's true. Yeah, I'd agree. I guess it's on that day because it's July 4th. That's the day of the signing.
Well,
so.
I think my point was just the opposite of that, though.
But you have Thanksgiving
neighbor,
like the fourth Thursday. We don't have Thanksgiving on a specific day of the month. It's the fourth Thursday.
I'm sorry. The 4th of July is the 4th of July.
Well,
right?
I know that. I understand that. Yeah, but
And in the middle of the week, oh well, But maybe just emphasize what it's all about, really. I mean, like have a parade in the neighborhood, I think I gotta stick with the 4th of July. Put the flag out.
All right.
That's all I got.
All right. Thanks. I gotta go. All right. Columbus, real name Cristobal Colon. He was Portuguese, not Genoese. Born in Cuba. He was a Portuguese spy to Spain. So,
whatever.
I don't know.
See, none of that matters to me in any way whatsoever.
Me.
Right? But I do know indigenous people, and I wouldn't mind celebrating their culture in Montana.
Yeah. I think we should have our own day for them, though. Why not have an Indigenous People Day if you're going to have a holiday for Indigenous people? Don't culturize it. Don't appropriate it from some other group.
Those are expensive. Those holidays when you have to pay everybody to have a day off.
Gotta go. We'll be right back. 6 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m., it's Tuesday, October 8th, and 2019. Of course, that means Jeff Krauss is in the house and Shane Matavin on the line. Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor, unelected, but still enforcing the laws here.
So 562 Native American tribes in North America, Canada, U.S., and over 3.5 million indigenous people. Largest tribes, Navajo, Cherokee, and Sioux.
We're getting some kind of feedback from you.
Well, really? Well,
yeah, getting some kind of whine or something. That's better.
That's better.
Yeah. Okay. Jeffrey.
Yeah.
MSU showed up last night.
Actually, we went up there to their place for the first time. Yeah.
That's right. You went up to wherever, I don't know, someplace up there. And you spoke with the Associated Students of Montana State University, and Bozeman Neighborhood Coordinator Tanya Andreessen was there, I guess, and whatever.
Well, we had some engineers there, and the police chief was there. The question I asked was, I asked two questions, sort of related. Do you feel safe in Bozeman as students? Do you feel safe? And I think for the most part, they said yes. We've got the overlapping Bozeman PD. We've got the city, the campus police. And so that part of it, they make an effort to make campus and the surrounds very safe. And, I think Bozeman's a welcoming community, and so we welcome all kinds of people here. All are welcome here. And then I asked them, do they feel equal to everybody else in town, right? When you walk around, you feel like you belong here. That was a little more of a mixed message, I think. But, I, having been a regent, right, I was a Montana University System regent. I worked with the university system a lot more closely and student governments. I when I went back to school in 1985, the only students I ever saw were the ones downtown on a hoot,
Right. Sure.
And, you get a certain impression that way, or maybe they were rowdy next door, whatever. But I think when you get up there, you get involved on campus activities. And I was a student senator. Yeah. And then I was the student business manager.
Well, the Rock and R's not the bar it was 10 years ago.
No. Well, 30. Wait a minute. I went to school a long time ago. Yeah.
But I mean, it's it got blown up.
Yeah.
But,
and not only that, but so the 18-year-olds could drink when I was going to college.
That's true too.
Yeah. Maybe it was 19, but it wasn't 21. And I just I think that sometimes we have an impression about the rowdy students, but they're contributing members of our community, and we wouldn't have a bus system. Mike Hope and Tom Upton and a few senators bought the short buses from Butte. Butte was ending its bus system. And they bought these stubby little buses that were too old to wheeze up and down the hills of Butte, and brought them over to Bozeman and started Bobcat Transit. And that's the origins of the bus system we have today. And that was in 1987. I was either a senator or the ASMSU business manager, can't remember which. So, we went up, me, Jerry Bancroft, who was arts and architecture dean, and a bunch of other people. J.P. Pomnikowski was a student senator then. Nancy Karajczyk was the ASMSU president. And we went up to meet with the Board of Regents to fight. Well, not fight. No one punched anybody, but to argue with the president of the university, Bill Teets, to keep the nursing program and the School of Architecture.
Oh.
And the solution that the Regents came up with is they'd charge super tuition and a half, and keep the two schools. But Teets had proposed cutting them out because they were the most expensive schools, and he couldn't charge tuition to cover those. So, we went up and I argued in front of the Board of Regents for that. So students, I think, over the years can have a real impact. I look back on that pretty proudly.
Sure.
And that was really the start of my interest in government. So, I respect what they do.
Yeah. What input do they have in what we'll call the 2020 plan, which is, our future plan? I guess is the 2030 plan.
Well, yeah,
now, but
called the community plan. They may have said some things. The other commissioners asked them a lot about, the very first thing any of the commission led with was asking them for money.
Yeah.
These are the students, right? They're paying to be here, and they're probably not working full time. And if there's any question about what the commission is all about, it was solved for me last night when the very first thing we did was ask some of the poor people in our community for money. And I thought that was a little bit over the top. We also, we want to rebuild Kagey Boulevard. Anytime you're there driving and it's time for classes to change, Kagey Boulevard can't be like South 11th where, you'll just stop dead.
Yeah.
Kagey Boulevard is a major artery, east-west artery. It's the main street on that end of town.
Yeah.
And so we have to figure out a way to get students back and forth. And we proposed the design is to have underpasses, 2 subgrade crossings at 11th and 7th.
That'd be kind of nice.
Yeah.
It is a boy, if you go through there during classes out,
you stop.
Oh yeah, you're stopped at every one, and for a while.
And the problem is that there's no queuing at at those, especially at the mid-block crossing, and it's much safer to cross there if you're a student than at 11th. You don't have to worry about left turners, right?
No.
And people just come up and they punch it and they punch it and they punch it and they punch it and you stop, and so the traffic is always stopped. So we need to change that. Really, we should take out the mid-block crossing, and even the football players would have to cross then.
Yeah.
At the corners. They'd have to walk farther, the football players, and it could wear them out, you would think. But, we said if you want a mid-block crossing, then probably the school ought to pay for that. And remember, they're proposing doing the other end zone and expanding again and building another building for, I think it's for football players.
They won't have to cross the street.
Well, they will, yeah.
Well, to get in their uniforms and that stuff, they'll be there rather than doing it somewhere else and then walking over to the street.
But I think, that's it's an issue for us. But most of the traffic, unlike what was said last night, most of the traffic that goes along Kagey Boulevard is east-west traffic. A lot of it goes to hospital or, to downtown or whatever. So,
you're going down to Wilson or you're going to a church or whatever.
Right. Or you're headed west out to home or whatever. All of those things happen. So Kagey is a major arterial in our town. We have the responsibility, and the state, by the way, it's a state route, to take care of that and to see how we can make it safe for the students. But I don't think going to student government and asking them for $2 million for an underpass is the way to go. That
may not be.
I think we ought to find something else. You know, and you know, MSU, the administration, has a stake in it because they want to drive their little maintenance vehicles back and forth.
Sure.
You know, they've got that road right there that comes out now.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be gone because it'll be raised. Kagey Boulevard will be raised, and they won't be able to get across. So they got a stake in if they want a mid-block crossing there between their facilities. They need to figure out how it's going to look.
Yeah. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. 522-822. Forget it. You're on the air with Jeff Krauss. What's going on?
Oh, hi. So you're touched on my favorite subject this morning, Kagey Boulevard.
Yeah, all right.
Yes. Are you talking about putting either an overpass or underpass on Kagey there?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I've been thinking about that for a long time. I was trying to get to the hospital in a hurry, and that is for the residents out in the south end of the area. That is the main boulevard for people needing to get to the hospital. So I just have been seeing that as a lawsuit waiting to happen. So, but that gets closed every time there's a game, and the signs, you don't know that it's going to be closed until you get right up there, and they need to back it up, back the signs up or something, put them further south so people know who are trying to get to the hospital.
Should they be on 19th, do you think?
The signs?
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a sign at 19th and Graff that says eastbound traffic.
Let's see, Graff. I don't even Graff or Patterson way back, because people just don't know.
Well, you can get through to Graff now, goes through to 3rd, and you can get around the whole campus that way. Go down Graff and you can get around. There's a workaround now, and even 11th comes through now. And then the purpose of that,
about there,
not only to encourage development out that way, but the purpose of that ultimately is when we do work on Kagey. And remember, Kagey between 11th and 19th has no sidewalks, has no curbs and gutters, is essentially built over a swamp. An MSU student was killed walking along there a few years back. It's not a safe facility, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that stretch alone.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I think the problem is that there's no queuing, and so and I've urged this for several years now, as a stopgap measure, you tie the queuing at the mid-block crossing to the light at 11th. So whether you're waiting to cross at 11th or you're waiting to cross at the mid-block crossing there at the stadium, that's mid-block, there's no road there, you have to wait until the stoplight turns red, so that it isn't just the traffic that queues.
Yeah.
It isn't just the cars that are idling while one student reading their phone walks across the street. It's, they all wait. The pedestrians wait until the light turns green, right? Or the light turns red at 11th. And I think that tying those two together would make a big difference in how Kagey works right now.
Well, and with all the money that MSU is throwing around, I think that should be a priority,
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for the program. I enjoy listening to it every day.
Well, thanks very much. We appreciate
you
that.
You guys are my friend in the morning.
All right. Good deal.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. Well, that's a good thing to say. So we've got to take a break on that, and we'll salivate over that while we're gone.
Positive note there.
That's right. We'll be right back. 21 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour. It's Tuesday, October 8, 2019, 48 degrees outside. Jeff Krauss is in the house, three-time mayor of Bozeman and current city commissioner, and we've got a caller on the line. Caller, you are on with Jeff Krauss. What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I don't know if this question has already been asked this morning. I know you're talking about streets and roadways and accessibility, et cetera. I just tuned in, so I apologize if it's been asked before, but I'm curious about the intersection at Durston and Ferguson. and wondering how long, if anybody has an idea, that's going to be dysfunctional. It's been months now, and just curious.
Yeah, it won't be. We're actually redoing the road from Fowler to Flanders Mill, so that project will take 2 years.
Okay, answers my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to take Oak to all the way to Laurel Parkway. That's right. That's what I do now. Yeah.
Yeah, that is open now. Laurel Parkway. If you're going east on Durston, you can get off on take a left on Laurel Parkway over and come down past the high school.
Yeah, you get around the elementary school too.
That's
that
true.
way.
Yeah,
which at 8:30 or 8:45 is whoa.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be. So.
Yeah, and Cottonwood, I don't know. I looked down Cottonwood. It looks like it's a 2-year project as well.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Why close Ferguson and Cottonwood both at the same time?
Well, that's an easy answer. Actually, that is a very easy answer. We're trying to get ready for the high school, right?
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah.
And actually, our partners in building those roads include the school district and the developer of what's the one that's down there in between the two parks. I can't think of the name of it right now, but that project, those are our partners in building those roads. So making those road improvements is prompted by the high school, and it opens next fall. So. We're something of a hurry to make quite a few improvements on that end of town to get ready for the high school.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much for the info.
All right. Hey, you're welcome. Yeah. Well, road construction around here is always an issue, certainly.
Yeah.
And, we got Rouse still going on. That's going to go on for a couple of years.
Oh, it is. Yeah. What they're doing right now is they're digging giant trench in Peach and Rouse to put a very large box culvert in
cover Bozeman Creek or
so they can rebuild the road over Bozeman Creek in those two areas, right?
Yeah.
Those are substantial projects, and they will last October, November, probably. Let's hope for a Christmas Day opening, shall we?
They'll be digging ice.
Well, that's all they're doing. I mean, that's all they're doing is dropping the two box culverts in. Then they're going to shovel it over. We're going to bumpity bump across those two, and then come spring, boy, boom. They're closed.
It'll go down. Okay.
And you might as well forget that there is a Rouse unless you're going to the yarn store or something.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure because they have witty sayings on their little signs.
I know they
right?
do. Yeah. When did the meat shop move out of there? I don't know. It's
a while back.
Where the meat shop
back.
used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did they move somewhere else, or do we know?
I don't know the answer to that question. I do know the people that run the yarn
shop,
knitting shop or whatever it's called, and so and I get a kick out of their little witticisms up there.
Yeah. So you'll you'll haul a skein of is that what they call it, a skein of yarn out of there? It smells like liver.
Yeah, take your giant pickup truck and load up. For the winter's coming, you're going to need something to do,
you're
right?
Gonna need something to do. Yeah, get out there and knit
one pearl too.
Socks. Right. Yeah, there you go. that will make it work. Absolutely right. So.
Yeah. Rouse will have, and again, some of the improvements to Rouse will be sidewalks and curbs and gutters and bike lanes, right? And I think that'll. We all remember when Reach was down at the end of the road, and you would see them walking, on a winter's day, and even last year, I saw people walking down the center of Rouse. Even though it had sidewalks, people weren't plowing their sidewalks. So this year, there will be a concerted effort to ticket people who don't clear off their sidewalks, and hopefully that'll include the Burlington Northern or Montana Rail Link as well, because they wouldn't clean their facility either. Well, it doesn't do any good to have a sidewalk with a 5-foot drift across it.
Maybe they'll maybe they'll just pay the fine and not worry about it.
Well, and that could be, in which case what we do, of course, is and we just passed those, by the way, last night. We we passed, I don't know, about $4,000 worth of fines that we certify over to the county, and they put them on the property tax bill, and then you pay them with your property taxes, or your mortgage company pays it.
Well, that's a good way to do it.
If you don't clean your sidewalk, by the way, the city of Bozeman does not provide a service to scofflaws who don't shovel their walk.
Right, yeah.
What we do is we tell you got to cover your walk. If you don't, we send a contractor who's very expensive because by the time he gets to the sidewalk, it's all beaten down, and you know how hard that is, to go clean your sidewalk, and then we charge you, and we add an administrative fee and a punitive charge and everything else. It's not a service to scofflaws. It's, you didn't do this, and you were supposed to, right?
Get out there and get after it.
And I have some rather pithy comments for people who say, oh, you're charging me so much. Look, there's other functions that you're required to do as a human being, and in the city of Bozeman, one of them is do that.
Yeah.
Yes, and don't rely on the city to do it for you. And that goes for a lot of landlords out there, right? Who maybe their tenants are supposed to do it. I don't know, but ultimately, it's the property owner that pays the freight.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if you've lived here for any length of time, you probably have invested in a snowblower.
Yeah.
I would hope.
He would hope, yeah.
Unless you're a renter.
Right.
But,
or even a tractor. I mean, if you're a landlord, you're a tractor, or you hire somebody, or the neighbor kid with one, you know?
You got somebody to do it. Yeah, I know. Well, we were talking about February with all the buildings caving in around town. Every morning coming in to work here at 4:30 or whatever, all you see is the pickup trucks
with the plows.
Yeah, with the plows. I mean, it's.
I think it's good work for people.
Well, it's very competitive. I know that because
Is it?
There's a lot of people out here doing that stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that once you find somebody reliable, you probably want to hang on to them, and if they want to increase their payment, you probably go for it.
Landscape in the summer and snowplow in the winter.
I was going to say, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I think that is a business plan for a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that out, and it goes along with what we were talking about. Look, winter's coming, and you got to shovel your walk or plow your walk.
And we're going to have some winter the next couple of days here, from what they tell me, unless it somehow misses us. But
within 24 hours of the snowfall, you got to shovel.
You got to shovel. All right. And it's not an SSS, shoot, shovel, and shut up.
It's not.
It's shovel and shut up.
And if you rely on the city to do it, it's going to be very expensive.
It's going to be, it's a socialist deal.
Well,
you don't want socialism clearing your walk. Come on.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, like I said, I'd be much pithier if we weren't on the radio.
There you are. All right. We'll be right back with more with Jeff Krauss right after this. 26 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, October 8, 2019. Jeff Krauss is in the house, three-time Mayor of Bozeman, current city commissioner, and Chairman Tobin on the line with me, and Tommy Goff. And, well, we've been talking a little bit about, we got snow coming. We got a winter watch, or storm warning, I should say, from 6 o'clock tonight till noon on the 10th.
Yeah.
So we're going to be busy till Thursday.
I'm guessing, in addition to the road construction, tomorrow's morning commute will be slippery.
It will be nasty.
Yeah. So
snow's supposed to be heavy overnight. So give yourself extra time in the morning to get to where you're going, because I think if you're taking 90, you're going to be in the parking lot probably, or.
Right. Well, and if you're dropping your kids off at Meadowlark School, it'll be a snarl for sure. Yeah,
it will be. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you on the air with Jeff Krauss and Tom and Shane. What's up?
You three villains are all villains, aren't you?
We are.
I thought you were.
We're on the dark side.
That's right.
That's right. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tom and Shane.
Good morning.
Good morning, good sir.
Well, I'll tell you something. I ain't ready for the snow.
Well, I'm glad you said that, and we won't provide it for you out of your place. We'll just keep it in Bozeman. No problem.
Well, I got a question to ask Jeff. Now, Jeff, you're going to think maybe I'm way out in left field here.
Well, you are out in the county, but okay.
Well, I'm out in the county. Hey, they're pumping water out here. You ought to see the holes in the ground out here.
They're sucking the groundwater out now?
They're pumping the groundwater out now and putting it back in the ground. They're recirculating it so they can pour cement, see?
Yeah.
Well, the building's only going to be 24 foot high, about 200 feet long, just a small building.
Would fit into anyone's neighborhood.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, what I got to ask you, Jeff, is this. I watched the Best Western Motel be tore down, and Kmart,
yeah,
and JB's.
Yep.
Now, I got a suggestion. I want you to tell me if it's good or bad. When these folks can't, like the motels, maybe competition's forcing them to quit and quit paying taxes. I was wondering why the city maybe couldn't put a moratorium on those taxes on those buildings before they tear them down. Give them a 2-year moratorium, and maybe they can find something else to put in there to pay taxes to the city rather than tear them down to avoid the taxes. And I wanted to run that by you and see what the hell you thought about that.
Well, that's so tightly controlled by state law that we have to do what state law tells us.
What's it tell you to do there?
And it tells you, they can go and get their taxes lowered. Their appraisal could go down significantly. For example,
if there's no building on it,
if there's no commerce in it, right? There's a couple different ways to value a commercial building. So I think that's the answer is to do that. Kmart was a type of building that had reached the end of its useful life, more or less. I mean, I tried to get the Gallatin College to go in there, and they just wouldn't do it. And yet, that is a good.
That was a good building.
Yeah, that would be good for a college. You got plenty of parking there. And
they did it in Wyoming. They went to Walmart in Wyoming. Yeah. But the Walmarts have taller ceilings. It's a little bit like that building out there that used to be Gibson's. And I can refer to Gibson's to you old timers.
Yeah.
That building with its low ceilings is a difficult sell for anyone to come in, a new retail business. Yeah. So those two, and then I think at some point, the people that own that corner, the corner of 7th and Main, essentially will put something in there. They're planning a fairly large project, and by large I mean tall and also lot coverage. It might even include a city and private developer parking. Yeah.
Well, Jeff, I was just kind of looking long term here, and I was thinking to myself, what a shame to tear these down, because of the tax burden that they'd have when they're empty.
Well,
and I was thinking about.
You can deal with the tax burden in other ways, I think.
Okay, well, but does the state mandate you to charge those taxes on those buildings when they're vacant?
They give us an appraisal, and we apply the tax rate. Yeah.
I'll be damned.
The state is in charge of the appraisal, as you know.
Yeah,
and they do it. And frankly, there are plenty of cities in the country that charge on vacant land as if it were fully developed.
Yeah. Well, my friend Dave Osterman was telling me he's one of the 8th richest, highest taxpayers there in the county, in the city. And he was telling me, he said, my God, these taxes are eating us alive. And he pays a horrendous amount of taxes on the land he owns there in the city.
Yeah, I think he owns that piece I was referring to before out there where Gibson's used to be.
He owns that there, 7 acres there, yeah. Dave and I have been friends forever, but the thing is, I was just trying to figure out some way maybe we could save the buildings, save the folks that own the buildings, and had a moratorium on it for a couple of years, and to see if they couldn't re-rent them or something, and then if they couldn't, then tear them down. But if the state mandates it every 2 years on appraisal, well, if you tear them down, they can only appraise the flat land. But then if the buildings are still there, then the state mandates you to tax them?
They get
appraised value.
They
yeah.
give us the appraised value, and we apply the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I hope some legislatures listen to me because I think that that's not right. I think that everybody should have a chance, and I think it would help the cities as well as the state.
Yeah, the Best Western wasn't. I may be wrong about that. Wasn't that some kind of a divorce deal that made that go under?
I have no idea. I know that the 4Bs
Yeah.
and the brothers and sisters own that.
Yeah.
To start with, and where the Chinese restaurant is, they own that also.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chinese, I don't know if they still own it, but the Chinese are in. They have a Chinese restaurant there across the street to the east of where the Best Western was. But
Are they still in business there?
Yeah,
that one is still going. Yeah, where 4Bs was. Yeah,
it's a pretty good place to eat.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, I was just it's just something I thought I'd pass by, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, you think about it, it takes a while, right, to find the right investor and find the right building. At 10 years after the explosion, 2009, I believe.
Yeah, I remember.
We're finally getting the last hole downtown in hot, heated, in-demand downtown Bozeman. It's taken 10 years to fill the last hole. Look, there are plenty of towns around America where something like that happens. The building gets, destroyed through any means, and it never comes back.
What's the name of the store going to be that's filling that hole there on Main?
Boy, I don't know what's going to go in there. It's going to be retail on the ground floor. That's, obviously. But
okay.
Well, Miles City, about the same time as our explosion, they had a fire that burned down part of their downtown. Because I spoke over there at one of their functions, and the nice thing about them is they put nice gravel over the hole.
Gravel over the hole.
It looked just really nice.
That's kind of planning for it not to be filled in.
They landscaped it really nicely. Yeah.
Well,
so I don't know if it's still the holes are still there or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
They probably want to put a basement or something in there. That's why they left them like that.
That could be. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, I just thought I'd call you, Jeff, and if you see a smoke signal out here. By my place, down there where you went.
Yeah.
If you see a big smoke signal, I'm really pissed off.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, man.
I'm kind of getting that way now. They got generators running 24 hours a day. My renters are pissed off because they can't sleep because of the generators, and I'm sitting here talking to Jeff Krauss, which can't do a goddamn thing about it. And so anyway, I'm just really pissed off, and
well, thanks for cheering us up this morning.
Well, yes, I know it, and God, I hate to do that, but you know how it is.
I do know how it is, and I've been out there and I've seen how it is. And I don't know how it was allowed to get that far.
Right.
I don't either, and it's I'm surrounded on all four sides.
Yeah.
It's and I don't like complaining really about me.
Well, think about us here. We got XL Country on one side and the Moose on the other. Come on.
Yeah, but it's good music and good talk show. Yeah, but mine stinks. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Well put.
Okay,
we gotta go. All right. Thanks. All right. We got to take a break here, Shane. We got callers lined up here, so if you can handle one of them, we'll be right back. 13 minutes for the top of the hour. We've got a caller patiently waiting on the line. The Shane's been waterboarding, so let's take a call. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Am I still here, or is there something else?
You are still
No,
here.
you're on live now.
You're live. You're live and well.
Oh, okay.
Globally.
Okay, yes. Okay. Regarding the vacant spot where K-Mart was, I was, doing a bit of wishful thinking. You see, I'm a recovering addict, and north of I-90 there is a place called Alcohol and Drug Services of Gallatin County, or ADS as it's usually called. And there are many of us who, instead of driving out there, we take the bus as far north as it will go, which is Walmart, and then we either walk or bicycle. And, of course, in cold weather, this is, especially a big deal. And the wishful thinking part is, you know, if some kind of office type place could be built where, you know, that the old Kmart site has been sitting vacant for, you know, multiple years now. And but anyway, that was just a bit of wishful thinking that I thought I'd offered up this morning.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the call.
All right. Thank you. Good morning.
Appreciate it. All right. Yeah. The city is a great realtor. You got the SAE House. You have the Mandeville Farms. Why not buy Kmart and put city services in there?
Yeah, because we could just
got parking.
We could just pile a bunch of money out in front of City Hall and light it on fire too.
Well,
you know?
why not?
One of the reasons is that the people that own that aren't interested in selling.
Okay.
Not that we'd be interested in buying, but they're not interested in selling. It's for lease. You drive on that side of 7th and you know, on Oak or
will they
any
build
of
a
those.
suit? Do you know?
I don't know if they will or not, but they're in a model. So, you know, one of the things that happened is Kmart's lease ran out.
Yeah.
And they didn't renew. Right? That was the end of that. No more Kmart.
Yeah. Well, they were closing stores all over.
All
the place
over.
anyway,
You know, aren't they part of Sears or
yeah,
something?
there's
anyway?
There's the whole thing's going in the dumper pretty much.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, retail. But anyway, you know, they're nobody's going in there for a reason, and it'll be that way for a while.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a real quick phone call. Let me get the rush update in. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the air with Jeff Krauss, Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hi. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing this morning?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I got one question and a comment. Hey, Mr. Krauss, what's going to happen to the property that's on Patrick Street and the 11th? That's behind the Kenyon Noble.
Street and 11th. So down to the north, up there on the north side of Oak.
Right.
I think all of that is.
It's residential, isn't it?
No, I don't believe so. Well, Kenyon Noble's not residential,
Well,
so.
no. But I mean, isn't there? Between Kenyon Noble, there's the bank.
Yeah,
Right.
it would take. I don't know. You know, I mean.
Are we on the other side? Are we on the north side of Kenyon Noble, or the east side of Kenyon Noble? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's on the north side, behind Kenyon Noble. It's Patrick Street. As I drive by there, I know there's a development sign, public notification sign.
Yeah.
But that's all covered up with overgrown grass, so you really can't see what type of development they're planning on putting there.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
maybe
know.
somebody will call it knows, and because we've got
development at Patrick
and
11th.
Yeah.
So is that up against Oak then, or Baxter?
Baxter.
Baxter. Yeah.
Be behind the hotels. Could be another hotel.
Could be another hotel. It's likely commercial.
Yep.
Yeah, I would
think
say
so.
likely
I
commercial.
bet it's another hotel. All right. Hey,
We really don't need no more hotels around here.
Are you kidding me?
Well, that is an interesting subject. Hotels are one of the most closely scrutinized and quantified investments.
They don't put them in for nothing.
They don't put them in unless the need is there, and the hotel. It can be demonstrated by how often hotels are full and number of rooms rented per night, and they have got a lot of heuristics for hotel building.
There they go.
People don't build them willy-nilly.
All right. Got to go.
Yeah,
Hey, thanks for the call.
Well, I have one more thing that I wanted to say.
Real quick.
On the old Best Western that was torn down, that was due because the new owners couldn't keep it up to code.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they were planning to build another one, but there's been a delay in that. It was not torn down due to or sold to divorcement. What happened, the owner, when he passed away, his son took over, Casey Arrington. They ran it into the ground. And, Yvonne, which is the mother, she actually, they owned all that property from the bamboo restaurant to right up to the Conoco gas station.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they've been, so when they sold that property, there was, not because of
okay. I didn't know. I thought I heard that rumor somewhere, and I said
it wasn't due to divorce.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad it wasn't then. I got to go. Hey, thanks for the call.
All right, no problem.
All right, thank you. All right, we got to get the rush update in here. Shane, we still got a caller waiting, and we'll be right back. All right, we got 2 minutes left. We got a caller on the line, so let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
Oh, man, Tom, I don't know if I can do it in 2 minutes, but I got to change subjects. We need to put an APB out for Comrade Andy. Where's our friend?
I don't know.
It's like Bernie Sanders is going down the drain, and Andy's been pretty quiet. He's a sneeze away from the grave. We've got corrupt Biden who just can't stay out of a corruption case, and then we've got Pocahontas who can't stop lying.
I know.
This chick is crazy.
And Camilla Harris with her grandparents and their slaves.
We're saying, we were saying off air, that all of them are melting down, and so now I think Steve Bullock might be looking good.
Yeah,
we might have a chance for having our governor run for president.
Yeah, there you go.
Hillary's making her way back into the conversation.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, and I'm still holding out hope for Marianne, really.
Marianne Williams.
And not Ginger, Marianne. Yeah.
Well, if it's an open convention, they'll pick Hillary.
There you are.
Wow, what a prediction.
All right.
Well,
that's a prediction.
They might not be picking her. They might be picking her up when she keeps falling on the ground.
I know, she keeps falling over. All right. Hey, thanks, Kevin.
All right.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right.
Great way to end the show.
All right. Say goodbye, Shane.
Bye, Mayor. Goodbye, Jeff. Everybody be happy, be safe. Talk to you tomorrow a.m.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for everybody for listening and calling in.
We appreciate it. Yeah. Don't forget to vote for us on BozemanMagazine.com. We're up for Best Radio Show over there. So go over and vote for us. Let's show the power of talk radio to these Neanderthals over there at XL Country and
right on.
Wherever else they are. All right, that does it for us. Hey, thanks everybody for the support of the show. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Jeff, for being here. Thanks, Shane, and we'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early in the snow at 6 a.m.